First night of Fyter Fest 2021 did not disappoint, especially in the much anticipated coffin match between Darby Allin and Ethan Page. A stacked card on tonight's show also saw John Moxie defend his IWGP US title against Carl Anderson, and Brian Cage put his FTW title on the line against Ricky Starks, and much more. We started off with Moxley versus Anderson for the New Japan belt. Eddie Kingston came out with Moxley while Carl Anderson was accompanied by Doc Gallows. Kingston immediately attacked Gallows and the two of them brawled through the crowd. Meanwhile, in the middle of the ring, Moxley and Anderson were throwing their best right hands at each other. They brawled out to ringside, where Anderson tossing the champion into the barricade. Back in the ring, Moxley and Anderson were both on the turnbuckle. Mox hit Anderson with a suplex from the second rope. Back on the mat, the champion went for a pile driver, but it was blocked. Carl Anderson then headed to the top rope and hit a top run gun stand. Moxley blocked it and had a paradigm shift before pinning Anderson to get the win. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. This was a really fun match to start the show, and after the match, Lance Archer attacked John Moxley, meaning we're going to get that match for the belt next week, which I'm really looking forward to. But anyway, next up it was Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks for the FTW title. There was tension as Team Taz came out. Cage was dominant early on before Starks sidestepped him and quickly headed to the top rope and took Cage down. Brian Cage managed to hit back with a knife edge chop. Ricky headed out to ringside and went to take the FTW belt. Cage was right behind him and sent him crashing into his the ring post. He then went to grab it again and tried to use it as a weapon. As the referee turned his back, Powerhouse Hobbs suddenly jumped on the apron and hit Cage with the belt. Stage quickly followed up with a spear and got the win. I'm going to give this 7 out of 10. If Team Taz is going to break up, this is the way I want to do it. Ricky Starks for that belt is just so great. He just looks like $1 million. So I'm so excited to see what he can do with it. And I just actually can't wait to see where this goes. Before Cody Rhodes came down to the ring and said Rhodes was furious because Black hit on Anderson. Black then appeared on the screen with a message to Cody. He told him the story of one man putting down his prized horse was no longer good enough. Black said that the man had wanted the horse to end its time of dignity, and he saw Arn Anderson and Cody Rhodes. He felt the same way. Cody once again implored Black to come down to the ring, so he did, and they were brawls, and security had to break it up as it went off the air. But yeah, this is just such a great debut. Having Black on AEW is just so good, and going straight into a feud with Cody Rhodes, which he's getting the upper hand of so much, it just shows how much they think of him, to be honest. Before Hangman Page was into the ring and said that he wanted to be AEW champion one day. He added that he had been close to doing so when he faced Chris Jericho. However, Hangman said he needed that championship and that he was there now to challenge for the title. Page was cut off by Don Callis, who was with the Young Bucks, Brandon Cutler and Omega. Matt Jackson went down to the ring and accused Hangman Page of abandoning him. He then accused Hangman of being a lonely drunk. Matt Jackson then challenged Page to hit him, and Hangman obliged. He also took out Cutler with his right hand match. Page then challenged Omega to a match. Omega then proposed a 5-on-5 match, the Elite against Page and the Dark Order. Kenny Omega agreed and proposed that if Hangman and his friends lost, they would lose their title shot. Just give me that. It's going to be so good. What a promo. Before Chris Jericho was attacked backstage by Shawn Spears, and that meant that we're going to get a match between those two next week, which will be good. But anyway, we then got Matt Hardy versus Christian Cage. Hardy and Cage locked up in a collar and elbow early on. Christian tossed Matt Hardy into the barricade before heading back into the ring and climbing the turnbuckle. Christian took to the skies and laid out Hardy with a flying double axe handle. Back in the ring, Matt Hardy wrestled back control and choked Christian Cage against the Boston rope. He followed up with a neck breaker before capitulating, allowing Hardy to get in control. During the ad break, they were brawling at ringside before Christian tried to hit back with a few right hands of his own. Matt Hardy then headed to the middle rope and probably looking for a leg drop, but Christian sent him crashing into the mat and then tried to set up for a kill switch before Hardy countered it with a quick twist of fate. It looked like Matt Hardy had match in the bag as he low blowed Christian, hit the twist of fate, but Christian Cage managed to kick out at the last second. Matt Hardy was then getting frustrated and Christian Cage beat the 10 count after he got shoved out of the ring. Matt Hardy was slightly off guard and Christian went for the kill switch to get the win. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. To be honest, I'm kind of glad this feud is over. To be honest, I haven't really been feeling it, but it was a decent enough match and for me the right result. Baker then said that Nyla Rose had beaten her already and that she was in a league of her own. Britt added that unlike Vicky, who's always been relevant because of her last name, Nyla Rose needed the belt to stay in the limelight. Yeah, basically, classic Britt Baker promo, it's fine. Before we got Willy Yuta versus Sammy Cavalla, Sammy Cavalla dominated long stretches of the match and was able to finish him off pretty quickly with a springboard cutter and a GTH to pick up a pretty much routine win, just picking over Cavalla. No problem with it. It was quick, short, snappy. And good for Willy Yuka to get on Dynamite, I suppose, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Before we got Penelope Ford versus a returning Yuka Sakazaki. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Ford was in control early on, and Sakazaki managed to reach the ropes to break up the hold. The Japanese style hit back with a sliding elbow, followed by a boot, another kick across the face in the corner, and Sakazaki followed it up with a spinning elbow strike. Ford then hit back with a couple of pump kicks, but it was not enough to put her away, and she retaliated, and Sakazaki then hit the magical girl splash to pick up the win at Fighter Fest. I'm going to give this 7 out of 10. Not because the match was brilliant, it's just that I'm so glad to see Sakazaki back. But anyway, next up was Darby Allin versus Ethan Page in our main event. Allin didn't wait around, and we thought Darby had a steel plate tied to his back at that point, and he was trying to take Page out with a suicide dive. What a mad bastard. Allin went to open the coffin, and Scorpio Sky was in it, and this led to Sting coming out. However, he was attacked, but he soon recovered and took out Scorpio Sky. Meanwhile, we saw Ethan Page had unbuckled the bottom turnbuckle, and then he charged at Darby Allin, who sidestepped him, causing All Ego to crash over the barricade. The brawl continued through the crowd, and Darby leaped at Page, who caught him in the mid-air and slammed him into the railings. Allin looked in a tough spot as Page then tossed him around. This match was chaos. Ethan Page grabbed the steel steps and was all over him, and then grabbed steel hook over the turnbuckle, and it collapsed into Allin. Back in the ring, however, Darby managed to get back some momentum and hit Page with a stunner. Ethan Page went to put Darby Allin in the coffin, but Allin then smashed across the spine, and his trust is fate rolled. Page rolled into the coffin after this, and Allin shut the lid to get the win. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. This was just so good. I'm not normally a fan of coffin matches, but this was really fun from start to finish and really entertaining. And Darby Allin climbed to the top rope after the match and hit a coffin drop through the coffin with Ethan Page still inside, and that just about sums up Darby Allin, doesn't it? Just what a mad bastard. But yeah, on the whole, I absolutely love this. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Bravo. Overall this week, AEW Dynamite gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Really enjoyed this week of Dynamite, to be honest. It was good from start to finish, lots going on. Plenty to get excited about for upcoming episodes, and for Fighter Fest Night 1, that was really good, and Fighter Fest Night 2 definitely has a lot to live up to. But anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, let me know your thoughts and comments down below, and follow me on Twitter and subscribe for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to my channel on Instagram right now, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.